Hello and welcome. Hope everybody's had a good day off today for Election Day. Hope you did your civic duty. If you're eligible to vote, go vote. If you did not go vote during the early voting period, I hope you went out and took care of that and did it. It's one of the most important things you can do in our country is to go out and vote and voice your opinion. So hopefully you got that taken care of. We're starting a new unit today, Unit 4. Unit 4 is going to be really short and quick. We're going to deal with voting and why we go out and vote the way we do and things like that. That's what we're talking about today. And then we'll talk about political parties, and we'll also deal with some policy stuff, economic and social policy, and we'll be done. We'll be done by next Wednesday. So this is a quick moving unit, and we can do that because it's only 10 to 15% of your AP test. So while it's important stuff, it's not as heavily emphasized as some other stuff. Okay. If you want this PowerPoint without me talking about it, then it is on eClass under Unit 4 in Chapter 6. So let's get going. So first off, what is political socialization? And this is something that shows up on your test all the time. It is basically where you get your ideas on how to vote, your political beliefs, where all that stuff comes from. Okay, and you see the cartoon there. You've got TV, school, religion, parents, all kinds of stuff there contributes to how you vote, or excuse me, how you think the way you think about politics. And that's what we're going to go through today. All right. So the government, they help lead to socializing you, okay? Just because they're the government, and they contribute throughout your life to the way you view. We're going to school, and then getting out, the things they do, the policies they make and create. Maybe you like them, maybe you don't. That helps contribute. Okay, your life experiences can contribute to it. Your friends can contribute. The group of people you hang around, if they're constantly talking about the way they believe and it's a way, then it rubs off on you possibly. Okay, especially if they're close friends and you hang out all the time. Your job. Okay, just once again, the people you're around all the time, they contribute to how you believe. Not always. Your jobs are pretty split a lot of times between Republicans, Democrats, Independents, and things like that. But if you're in a small job and a small group of people and they all believe the same way, it tends to rub off on you. Okay. Higher education, the higher up you go, the 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 political leanings gets rubbed off on you. Also, the more education you get, that contributes to how you believe. Mass media plays a role. Just think about all the stuff you see, all the images you see, all the articles that are out there about our politicians. The way they're written, the way they're portrayed by the mass media plays a role in deciding what you think about those people. Religion plays a role, whatever religion you are, and we'll look at some of these trends later on down the road. But the religion that you are plays a role in how you're going to vote and what you support. Your family, this is the number one way that is going to mold you into the political person that you are. You're going to get most of your ideas and thoughts and things like that about politics from your family because, well, guess what? You're around them more often than anybody else. And so they're going to have a big role in shaping the way you vote and turn out to be. Okay? All right, next up, political participation. Politics is a lifelong activity. It's not something you just do once and then you're done. Okay, and it does become it's a learned behavior. You see your parents going out to vote and your family members taking it serious and going out to vote, all that kind of stuff. And it's something that maybe becomes important to you. If you come from a family that, I'm not going to go vote this go around, or it's never been a big deal and they never talk about politics and things like that, then it might be something that's not important to you. Okay. Now, as you get older, there is more political participation. It's just a trend. Your age group, 18 to 25, typically does not participate. It's something that generally the older generations tend to go out and do more so. Also, as you get older, you tend to become more entrenched with what you believe as far as politics go, and you don't get changed. And there's plenty of stories of people who voted Democrat here in the South their entire lives, But then there was a switch back in the 50s and 60s, and the South kind of became Republican. But there were people, well, I've always voted Democrat, and I'm an old person, so I'm going to vote Democrat no matter what. And then your party attachment, and that goes kind of to that too. As you get older, you just kind of really get attached to those parties and things like that, the Republicans and Democrats. Participation in education. Positive feelings early in life, like we said, you're less likely to be disenchanted later. So if you have some positive experiences with politics, with the government, you tend to be more willing to go out and take part in the process. Better educated citizens are more likely to go out and vote. It's just the way it is. The more you understand the process, the more likely you are to want to go out and be involved and make changes and things like that. Now, it also says that we're more tolerant of opposing opinions as we become more educated. And this is something we really need to work on in this country, is to be more tolerant of opposing opinions. We have a real problem right now with the Republicans and Democrats, and I'm right and you're wrong, and that's the only way it can be. We have to be able to sit down and have civil discussions with each other, and it's something that a lot of people struggle with, especially when it centers around politics. People just get really fired up. But it's something we need to be able to do. Social class. It is a class-based activity. The higher your socioeconomic status is, the more likely you are to participate. That's not to say that, hey, people in poverty are never going to go out and vote. It's just a trend. You go back and look at data, and we'll look at some graphs in class with some of our activities, and you'll just see that the lower incomes tend to go out and vote less. Minority groups tend to participate less. Okay, once again, just a trend. And you see the however there. If equal education or income, minority groups participate more. So you got to take a look at the trends, and there's a lot of things we look at that contribute to this stuff. Don't think that one of these is the end all be all. How do we participate? Well, we can be violent or peaceful, organized or unorganized, casual or consuming. Most of our stuff is peaceful, either through voting, through protests and things like that. Oftentimes they don't turn violent. A lot of ours is organized, okay? And this casual or consuming, there's a fine line here between politics being all consuming or just being casual. All right. Methods of participation, the conventional ways, the most often the easiest way for people to participate in politics is to go out and vote. You could also sign a petition. A couple of years ago, someone was trying to get a petition around here to get some people out there to direct traffic. Okay, but the petitions can be small like that or big. Trying to get to your congressman. You can write a letter to your congressman. You can actually run for office, make a donation to a campaign. Those are the ways that people participate in politics. That's easy. Unconventional, go out and protest. That takes some work. You actually have to leave your house and go get involved a little bit. Civil disobedience, breaking rules that you think are unjust. Riots, I don't suggest being a part of a riot. It can get dangerous there. But it is something that does happen in our world. The counting of Americans, the demographics, when you take the census in 2020, if you're not living at home, it just depends. When I was in college in 2000, I did not take part in the census. I still counted towards my mom's household. So it just depends on what's going on for you in 2020. But they get all this data and they put it together, okay? And it's how they get a count of us, and they break down the demographics, male, female, black, white, all those kind of things will come out, and we'll get an idea of the numbers of Americans. 3 demographic current trends: immigration. As more and more people come into this country, it changes the demographics. Okay, and we'll see this with the 2020 census. Population shift, people moving. I've said many times that I think Georgia will gain some seats, will gain some population. States like Ohio, Indiana, places like that where nobody wants to live really, they're losing people. Okay, the Rust Belt and the Sun Belt. We're part of that. We're a good place to live. Okay, good weather, good jobs, and that sort of stuff. And this reapportionment thing, this election is pretty huge because we have governors running, and just realize they have a say so in the reapportionment process. Okay, they can veto maps if they want to. And then gray power, there's more and more. Pardon the interruption, but the gray power there, the elderly population explosion, that sounds kind of odd, but realize that people are living longer and longer, so there's more and more old people, and they go out and vote. So the old people, the old demographic, is a huge part of politicians, who they need to go after, right? Because once again, they go out to vote versus the young people who tend not to. All right. And then lastly, why are social demographics important to politics? Well, the demographics often determine how you're going to go vote. And so it's important for politicians to have an idea of who's within their district or state, and they can play or try and get them on board with what they're going to do, and they want to do things that are going to make them happy. All right. Okay. We'll work on some things in class on Wednesday on this. So hopefully you watch this and you're prepared. Anyways, hope you had a good day off, and see you on Wednesday.